The full story of football, its origins, evolution, and global impact. Football, also known as soccer in some countries, is the world's most popular sport, enjoyed by billions of people globally. Its history spans centuries, and it has evolved into a cultural and social phenomenon that unites people from all walks of life. From its ancient origins to modern-day international competitions like the FIFA World Cup, football has a rich and fascinating history. Origins of football, early forms and ancient games. The origins of football can be traced back to ancient civilizations, where people played games involving a ball and their feet. Although modern football as we know it began in the 19th century, similar ball games were played thousands of years ago in different parts of the world. Ancient games. Cuju, China, 3rd century BCE. The earliest known form of football, Cuju, was played in ancient China during the Han Dynasty. The game involved kicking a ball made of leather into a net and was used as a form of military training. Kemari, Japan, 6th century CE. Kemari was a ceremonial game played by Japanese nobles. Players passed a ball made of deerskin around in a circle, trying to keep it from touching the ground. Episkairos, ancient Greece, 5th century BCE, a game involving the use of hands and feet to pass a ball, played by two teams on a field divided by a line. It is considered one of the precursors to both football and rugby. Harpastium, ancient Rome, played by Roman soldiers. Harpastium involved a smaller ball and was more of a physical game, where teams tried to control the ball in a defined area. While these ancient games laid the foundation for modern football, the version of the sport we know today began to take shape in medieval Europe, where various regions played their own versions of the game. The evolution of football in England, the birthplace of modern football. The modern version of football originated in England during the 19th century, where it was formalized with rules and regulations. Before the rules were standardized, football in England was chaotic, with matches often involving entire towns and large groups of players. Medieval football, 12th–18th centuries, football was played in villages and towns across England, often during festivals. It was known as mob football because it involved large groups of people, minimal rules, and could be violent. Games were played in open fields or streets, with the objective being to move a ball to a specific goal using hands, feet, or any part of the body. Due to the unruly nature of the game, it was banned multiple times by the monarchy, particularly during the reigns of Edward II, Edward III, and Henry IV. However, the bans were largely ignored. The formation of modern rules, 19th century. The standardization of football began in the mid-19th century with the rise of public schools and universities in England. Different schools had their own versions of football, with varying rules. Two distinct forms of the game began to emerge. Rugby football allowed the use of hands to carry the ball. Association football restricted players to using only their feet. In 1863, the Football Association, FA, was established in England to create a uniform set of rules for the game, leading to the birth of modern football. The rules were known as the laws of the game, and they established key principles that are still followed today, such as no use of hands, except by the goalkeeper. The size of the playing field. The number of players on each team, 11 players. This marked the official split between football, soccer, and rugby. The spread of football from England to the world. After the formation of the Football Association, the sport rapidly gained popularity across England and then spread to other parts of the world. Growth in Europe. By the late 19th century, football clubs had formed across Europe. Countries such as Scotland, Germany, France, and Italy adopted the sport, creating their own national football associations. International matches were first played between England and Scotland in 1872, marking the beginning of international competition in football. Global expansion. Football was introduced to South America and Africa by British expatriates and sailors in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The sport became immensely popular in countries like Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay, which later produced some of the greatest football players in history. In the United States, football, soccer, initially struggled to gain popularity but has since grown into one of the country's most watched and played sports, particularly among youth. The rise of international competitions. One of the most significant developments in the history of football was the creation of international competitions that brought together teams from different countries to compete at the highest level. The Olympic Games. Football was first included in the Olympic Games in 1900, and it remains an important tournament, particularly for young players under the age of 23. The FIFA World Cup. The FIFA World Cup, first held in 1930 in Uruguay, is the most prestigious football tournament in the world. It takes place every 4 years and features national teams from across the globe. The World Cup has grown to become the most watched sporting event in the world, surpassing even the Olympic Games in terms of viewership. Countries like Brazil, Germany, and Italy have historically dominated the competition. Club competitions. Domestic leagues and international club competitions, such as the English Premier League, La Liga, Spain, Serie A, Italy, and the UEFA Champions League, have further popularized football on a global scale. Football's cultural impact. Football is more than just a sport. It has become a cultural phenomenon that shapes national identities, brings people together, and influences art, fashion, and politics. Social unity and rivalries. Football has the unique ability to unite people across cultural, ethnic, and national divides. Events like the FIFA World Cup create a sense of global camaraderie as millions of fans support their teams. However, football has also sparked intense rivalries between teams and nations, such as the El Clasico between Barcelona and Real Madrid, or the fierce competition between Brazil and Argentina. Economic impact. Football generates billions of dollars in revenue through broadcasting rights, sponsorship deals, ticket sales, and merchandise. The sport has created an entire industry that supports millions of jobs worldwide. Football as a tool for change. Football has been used as a platform for social and political change. For example, players and clubs have spoken out against issues like racism and inequality, using their influence to raise awareness. The future of football. The future of football will be shaped by advancements in technology, the increasing commercialization of the sport, and efforts to address challenges such as inequality and corruption. Technology in football. Innovations such as video assistant referee, VAR, and goal line technology have already begun to change the way the game is played and officiated. Wearable technology and data analysis tools will continue to enhance player performance and shape coaching strategies. Women's football. Women's football is growing rapidly, with increasing media coverage and investment in women's leagues and tournaments. The success of the FIFA Women's World Cup has elevated the status of female players and teams. Globalization of football. As football continues to grow in countries like the United States, China, and India, the sport's global reach will expand further, leading to new markets and fan bases. Conclusion. Football's enduring legacy. Football has evolved from ancient ball games to the most popular sport in the world, with billions of fans and players across every continent. Its ability to transcend borders, cultures, and languages makes it a unique and powerful force in the world of sports. From its origins in England to the global spectacle of the World Cup, football will continue to inspire and unite people for generations to come.